Hi, welcome here. Today I would like to walk you through the design process of a responsive app that allows swimmers to check the sea conditions in seconds. My name is Vít. I'm a product designer. I've created the app as part of the 10-month user experience program with Career Foundry. So the sea behavior change constantly and depend on many weather factors. To make an educated guess when it's good to go for a swim takes a long time. So I thought, what about if we combine all the stats into one index? That the higher the number it is, the better. And if it's over 70%, yeah, it's good to go for a swim. I made the real-time weather responsive simulation of the sea itself, where you can browse suitable times just by swiping right and left. Here we can see the sea by early morning. You can observe the waves are becoming much rougher as the day progresses. So you better go for a swim now before it becomes rough. So how did I get here? I felt I need a survey before starting the interviews to understand the problem space and to ask better questions at interview. I've synthesized the findings of the swimmers' behaviors and attitudes, needs and goals, and what they were frustrated about. And I found out it's quite challenging to understand these stats. The swimmers found the abstract numbers unfriendly, and usually they have to check multiple better sources. As there were many competing needs, I wanted to understand the context of the swimmers better to define the target audience. I've decided to merge all the research data into one interactive dashboard. So for example, I could filter down here on the occasional or regular swimmer and see what stats they would prefer to see. And as the findings for regular swimmers were more conclusive, I wanted to build the first MVP tailored to them as my target audience. But to make personas, I had to plot the research insights onto provisional journey map and annotate it with my observations for each point of the journey that would be relevant to regular swimmer. Thanks to this exercise, I saw emerging patterns that made a successful swim. So Trina here represented a motivation of a highly active swimmer with a busy schedule who didn't have time to check all the stats and just wanted to see when it's safe to go for a swim. On the other hand, Jaden here, he already had specific time in mind. He represented the curious, adventurous swimmer who would be deciding where is best to go right now. I did few user flows to see what actions the users would need to do to attain their goals. So Trina here just got to this co-working place in Iceland, and last night her friend recommended her this app. So she opens the app for the first time, learns about the swipe function, swipes through the day. The afternoon looks quite rough, so she swipes back and finds the conditions are quite good around midday. So as her remote meeting is about to start, she can relax. She can plan her day around that and plan the meetings accordingly. So by now I roughly knew what to do, but so I've created a set of those 20 keywords based on research findings to see how the swimmers thought about the problem space. I discovered a strong cluster here around the stats, and which was good, so I've decided it would be good to make them together on a screen And as the safety recommendation index didn't have high correlation with any of the clusters, I thought this is actually a great opportunity to integrate it with the stats here and put everything on one screen, but I just have no idea how. I started out to sketch the ideas and experimenting with many versions of dashboards. I thought it was possible to show it all on one screen, but it always looked quite cluttered. Fortunately, I kept coming back to research findings, and at one point I realized the swimmers actually care just about the tide levels and waves the most. So what about if we show the sea itself, like from the perspective of the swimmer when they are in the sea? And let's experiment how to get the other stats around that. So for example, here I was experimenting with the timeline and to make additional means of navigation, like a faster navigation, but it just didn't work. There's lots of swipes. I thought it would be much better to integrate that within the pop-up window, where since you are interested in specific app, it would make more sense to you to see the overview for that particular stats. Then you could come back easily again. Upon reaching the high fidelity prototype, I went out and did a few user tests. For example, the users weren't aware they could tap those details to reveal the overview of that particular stats. So I made all the elements consistent and made their behavior and function the same, so they could have more trust in the app. And also, even though they've been introduced to the swipe function in the onboarding process, they actually sometimes forgot, and they kept tapping this time button originally here. So I've decided to make it interactive as well, and it would trigger this pop-up where they're reminded of the swipe function. So when I was creating the design language, I paid particular attention to the tone of voice to be friendly towards the swimmers. I wanted to encourage the future collaborators to consider every screen as an opportunity to create an atmosphere similar to ambient swim. So I found the whole process amazing. It's just so interesting. You never knew how the project will evolve and what methodology is best to deploy. It's fascinating what the users can share. I just wish I could give them a little bit more time, because I feel that's where the magic happens. They want to have that. I wanted to make them comfortable so they can share more feedback and go beyond the obvious. There are loads of potentials for the app, and I hope with the right mix of gamification and integration, I would increase the app's longevity. You might receive an image of visual of the calm, sunny sea, which is forecasted for Friday, and with that image, invite your friend for a swim. So there you have it. As you can see, there are many areas to push forward. So thank you for watching, and I'll get back to you with more details. Thank you.